Hi Abdullah, good morning, good evening.
Hello.
So we'll wait for 5 10 minutes as people are joining, and then we can start. So we have our speaker with us, Ima Saman, and still people are dialing in. With respect to our different channels where we are present as the next wave hive. So we have our presence on LinkedIn, WhatsApp, even on Telegram, YouTube, Instagram. So you can follow us anywhere, and you will get to know a lot of new things which we are presenting in future, and we'll discuss this also during our presentation. Hi Ankur, thanks for joining.
Hi, good afternoon.
Welcome, Ankur. In the time people are joining, maybe we can post our um name, location, or LinkedIn IDs so that everyone can connect each other on um, group chat. Hi Anil, good afternoon. Thanks for joining. We'll wait another for 1 or 2 minutes, and we'll start by in 2 minutes. People are still dialing in. Hi, Shubhadeep. Thanks for joining. You can find out our website QR code, WhatsApp QR code, and LinkedIn QR code just to connect. Even I posted the different links on the chat box also. And till the time everyone joins, you can share with respect to your location, LinkedIn ID on the chat so that we can make it little bit interactive and we'll connect also in future. Okay. Let me share uh, my presentation with respect to the Next Wave Hive because I first want to explain you what is Next Wave Hive, what is this platform where we all are joining, and what is it. Hope my screen is visible. So welcome again. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So welcome to the Next Wave Hive. So Next Wave Hive is the community which we are. So Next Wave Hive is the community which we are building with respect to the curious mind, spark innovations, and cultivate impact collaboration. So in the Next Wave Hive, we innovate together and transform forever. So the main focus of the Next Wave Hive when we build this community is irrespective of the domain. Like there are a lot of communities right now present in global atmosphere. Uh, Anything is related to the agile or something is related to the PMI, and there are various other communities which is only related to the developers and anything. But with respect to the Next Wave Hive, there is no domain specific, no technical specific. We can connect here irrespective of any domain, any skill set, and that's what we call as a Next Wave Hive. So, what Hive offers for you? To provide the mentoring, business information, so and collaboration works, skill edge, and networking events. Mentoring is like we are doing the professional and entrepreneurial growth. We give you the guidance with respect to that. Business information, we provide the support and resource to launch the scale ventures. So if there is any startup, we can help those ventures and give them a platform to showcase their products so that everyone know about it. Collaboration work, like if anyone having a hands-on experience, that will help us to ignite the creativity and build actionable skills with our community. Skill edge, we are providing a different kind of a training with respect to soft as well as technical skills, so that will help to grow in future and that will also help for the career success. And whenever we are meeting in a common platform, we'll do our networking. That will help us for the professional as well as for the business environment. What is Hive? Hive is an open platform for all. Like I told that it is not with respect to any domain. We can showcase our project, whatever project we are grow continuously, and we empower our members to support members to transform their ideas into impact. So, as we are growing as a community, so we have a lot of volunteer opportunity in which we want you to contribute your skills, build networks, and gain experience. Once you showcase your skills, it is not only with respect to the direct contributed. And once you contribute, you will definitely build your network, and that network helps you to gain the experience with respect to leadership as well as the professional skills. So how you can join? So Next Wave Hive is open to all, uh, either with the professionals, startup, students, or organization. Everyone is welcome in the Next Wave Hive. And we have a small registration. Just you need to mention your name, email ID, and details. And once you got those details, we'll contact you. And then you can engage and participate and help us to grow this community. So our upcoming event is also planned on 23rd May, in which we are briefing about Azure Computer Vision. And there are multiple Zoom sessions of the program in which we are providing online gaming. So like you heard, there are agile game sessions and boarding games. So we are targeting those things. Plus, there are investment tips with respect to the global market, like how the IT people need to invest it. So we are targeting those things. So any questions regarding Next Wave Hive till now? Okay. So now we are coming to our uh, speaker, which is our today's topic, Uma Salmon. So he is a result-driven project leader, bringing engineering precision with global net and teamwork. With deep roots in automation and semiconductor innovation, Uma brings real-world strategies and sharp technical insight, and a passion for elevating team under pressure. He is also the active member of TMS. So today's event is about tough talks, smart move influence when it counts. So Ima, over to you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the introduction. Let me share my screen, and we can get started.
Yeah, let me stop sharing my. Now you can go ahead.
I have a little bit issues with sharing, just a second. Okay. You can see it now, right?
Yes, Ima, you can see now.
Okay, perfect. Then let me get started. First of all, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining today. Today we will talk about tough talk, smart moves, influence when it counts. This will be a discussion. Let's do a presentation and then a discussion about communication, about crucial conversation, negotiation, and influencing. And I'm happy to join. Hopefully, you will have some takeaways from this talk today that you can use in your everyday life. Let me introduce myself and then get to the details. So, as it was already shared about me, in short, I'm a senior technical project manager. I have a master's degree in mechanical engineering. I'm PMP certified. I work now in automotive industry and semiconductors. Previously, I have similar experience at different companies before. I'm skilled in managing complex hardware development projects, including development board and integrated circuit design, and I guide them from initial concept to product release. My career started in Hungary. I'm Hungarian, but now I'm based in the Netherlands. I speak on PMI events, and I'm member of Women in Project Network and Nexus of Learning, which is a book club. And you are welcome to join, because monthly we also have discussions about professional books. And I'm dedicated to lifelong learning, and I invest time in self-improvement. That's shortly about me. If you like to contact, you can see the QR code of my LinkedIn profile here. Then we have some time for networking, as we already spent some time with it, and I heard that there are already some chats incoming. Sorry, I don't see the chat somehow. Teams is not working, but I hope you shared where you are from and what's your profession, and share your LinkedIn profile in the chat for networking purposes. I believe on LinkedIn we can inspire each other in many ways. So I find it really useful when we exchange contacts here. And let's dive into the details today. So today, this discussion is about, as I shared, communication. So tough talk and smart moves. I picked 3 topics which I found interesting to share and discuss today. It's about crucial conversations when emotions are high and stakes matter. It's about negotiation and influencing. And then we will summarize the whole, and we will have some practical examples. So I share situations, and you can apply what you learned. Why I chose this topic? So I believe in our professional life, many times we need to have some discussions when it really matters how we behave in the conversation, and compared to personal life. In work, you just cannot leave the conversation. You need to be there, you need to finish, and you need to stay focused on the topic and influence the discussions, how you need the outcome. Of course, definitely in an ethical way. These let's say frameworks also apply to personal life. So the book Crucial Conversation, which I recently read, was talking about personal life as well. When there are difficult conversations where we need to tell our opinions without much emotional impact. So let's get to the details. As you can see, there are 3 segments. I would start with the story, speak up or stay silent. In some moments, that choice changes everything. So I can tell you a moment when it changed an entire industry. So back in 1986, NASA was preparing to launch the Challenger shuttle. This is a story probably you have heard. There was a company which was supplying an O-ring component who had concerns, very serious concern. The temperature were unusually low that morning, and they believed the O-ring might fail. So they voiced their concern. They called NASA, and when they had the conversations, even the engineer was highlighting the problem and the concern. The feedback from NASA was, you need to take off your engineering hat and put your manager hat on, because there is focus, the media is here, and it's all about how we will achieve what we planned for. So at the end, the launch went forward, and we all know what happened. 73 seconds later, lit off. The Challenger disintegrated and killed all 7 crew members. So the story is not about the technical failure, but it's about the conversation that went off. And many times we see this similar issue happening at work or personal life. After a while, the conversation is not about the facts, but it drifts off to something else, something emotional, and we can hurt each other. This is a serious example, and we know we will not design probably for NASA, but it's just to make the point. We really need to make sure that our conversation goes to the right way. So this is why we are here today. We will explore the tools and learn how to talk when it's tough. So let's start with why these conversations matter. Silence isn't safety, it's risk. Unspoken issues don't resolve, they spread. Poor communication breaks trust, delays progress, and stalls innovation. And high impact leaders talk through tension, not around it. So let's talk about a skill we all wish we were better at: the ability to say what needs to be said when it really counts. So difficult conversations are everywhere in our work, teams, and families. There are moments where we all recognize the tension rises, stakes are high, and what we say or don't say will shape everything that follows. But there is the hard truth. Most people avoid these moments, and we should not avoid. We need to discuss our topics, not because we are weak, but because they feel afraid of breaking something: trust, relationship, credibility. So the irony is, when we avoid these conversations, that's when things start to break. You can see here what is exactly a crucial conversation. When stakes are high, opinions differ, and emotions are strong. So you can imagine many conversations like this. When you talk to your spouse about moving to another house, to another apartment, or when you need to discuss your salary raise with your manager. These are the points when stakes are high. It really matters if you will get the benefit what you ask for, or you move where you want to move. Opinions differ, and that's natural. Two people talking, sometimes we don't enter the conversation with the same opinions. But when opinions differ, it can go to sideways, it can go to aggression or silence, or just not discussing what we want to discuss. And emotions run strong. Again, it's a symptom or let's say a key point of crucial conversation, when you see tension rising. For example, you are sitting in a meeting room in a work environment and two people start to talk, and over time, as there is a topic really important for both of them, they start to be aggressive, they start to hurt each other, and then you just see just the topic will not be discussed, everything else is happening there. So this is something recognizes the moment is the first smart move. When you see this is now a crucial conversation and you need to be smart in it. So here is the first tool we are learning today about how to handle these conversations. It's this state model, and this state model is coming from the Crucial Conversations book. Share your facts, tell your story, ask for their view, talk tentatively, and encourage testing. You can see here a comic on the right. You can see the girl is asking, so what do you think? And the guy is telling, what difference does it make? Do you never listen anyway? I was just making a conversation. When you make conversation, you have to listen too. You see, it already drifts apart. We just don't learn what he thinks. This is a crucial conversation example. So what matters, how you ask this question, how you really start this conversation. Let's go to the example. So you can also use it in your personal life. This is the state model. When emotions are high, you need to ask the right question. Here is the model you ask. Share your facts. I noticed that the last 3 deadlines were missed by over a week, and this is a professional setup. Then tell your story. It makes me wonder if there is something blocking your team or if priorities shifted. Then talk tentatively. Ask for their view. How do you see it? Talk tentatively. I'm beginning to wonder, and encourage testing. If I'm missing something, please tell me. This is just an example where you can use, again, when emotions run high, and sometimes your emotions run high, you are hurt in a conversation. What helps you is bringing back your mind to this model and start by facts and not run into the loop where people try to bring you. So this is a model. Later on, you will find a memory card about that. So you can save it for later. I would go to the next tool. The Crucial Conversation book was sharing with us is about ask, mirror, paraphrase, and prime. So now that you started the part of the conversation, shared facts, told your story, and invited feedback, what is next? This is where most people stop. They think, I have said my piece, the rest is on them. But in high stakes conversation, your job isn't done until both voices are heard. That's why the next skill, this skill matters much. It's not about talking, it's about drawing the other person out from the emotions they are in. This is this AMPP model. This toolset is how you explore their path, especially when they are gone quiet or defensive or emotionally guarded. So about ask, and I can go to the next slide to share the example. This is simple. It sounds like, what are your thoughts? What's your take on this? Can you help me to understand how you see it? So it signals, I value your perspective. You are safe to speak. The next step is mirror. You are saying it's fine, but you seem frustrated. Am I reading that right? Mirroring brings awareness without judgment. It creates emotional safety. Then there is the paraphrase. You need to rephrase what they have said. So if I understand correctly, you are saying the deadline felt unrealistic from the start. This shows that you are listening to them and not just waiting from your turn to talk. And the last one is prime. Sometimes people won't open up, and that's okay. Prime them. Offer a possible interpretation to unlock the silence. Are you worried about how this might be perceived? Are you feeling left out from the decision? Priming is a gentle way toward honesty. So this is a model that is also nice to remember. I will also have a memory card for you. This curiosity builds safety, reflection builds clarity. I believe this is not also new for you, and all of us use these kind of frameworks in our ways. On the other hand, when emotions are high, just remember and don't let yourself dragged into the emotions. So let's pause here and take a breath. This is where all comes together. Now you have seen the essential tools navigating high-stake communication. So you need to recognize when it is crucial. You need to state your path, being threats, your story, curiosity, and safety. And AMPP their path, draw them out from when they shut down or hesitate or getting sarcastic. Here is what I want you to remember. These are not personality traits. They are not reserved for extroverts or people in leadership title or those born with soft skills. These are learnable, repeatable, trainable. So they don't require charisma. I believe these are good tools to use, and I want you to remember to a crucial conversation you had before and how you handled, and hopefully this is giving you takeaway for your next crucial conversation, and hopefully you can drive that better, especially when you are in a role when you need to work with many people or in your family. Many cases you have crucial conversation. Now let's give it a thought, and then we go to empathy and negotiation. This is our second block. So let's start with it. When people hear empathy, often they think kindness, agreement, or softness, but tactical empathy is something very different. And there is a book called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, who defines tactical empathy as understanding the feelings and the mindset of another in the moment, and also hearing what is behind those feelings, then using that understanding to increase your influence. So it is not about agreeing, it's about understanding and then using that understanding strategically. So it's not weakness, it's your strongest tool in high-stakes situation, whether you are diffusing a fight with a colleague, negotiating $1 million deal, or talking someone off the ledge, literally. So why it works, and this is an example from the book. The insight from the FBI is simple. People don't respond to logic when they are emotional. They respond to feelings understood. So when someone is upset, defensive, or rigid, the fastest way to soften them is facts. It's showing them, I see you, I hear you, you are not crazy, I'm not here to fight. That's when the doors open. So the sweetest sound in any negotiation is, yes, it is, that's right. And that's the moment you know they feel seen and now they will listen. So use empathy in negotiations, in talks, and then it helps you to achieve the goal you have in the conversation. Now let's dive into practical heart of this tactical empathy. You can see here examples. These 4 tools are your negotiations Swiss Army knife. You can use them in heated meetings, on one-on-ones, on escalations. And the best part is you don't need authority to use them. So let's go through the tools: labeling, mirroring, calibrated question, tone, and pauses. So I know I'm sharing a lot of information, but remember, you can also watch this again on YouTube. So you will have the takeaways. And as I told, these are based on books. So if you're interested in these topics more, you can read the books themselves. So let's go into this. What is labeling? Labeling means you name the emotional experience you are observing, not to judge it, just to show the other person that you see it. Start phrases like, it sounds like, it seems like, it looks like. This does not mean that you are agreeing, it means that you are acknowledging, and in doing so, helping them to process it. Then the second tool is mirroring, repeat their last words. This one is simple and effective. You just repeat the last 1 or 3 words of the other person said with a rising tone as you are genuinely curious. For example, they are under pressure by a client, and then you say from the client, and what happens? People elaborate, they feel heard, and then it gives them the idea that you really care and they want to collaborate with you more. Then let's go to the calibrated question. How can we move forward on this? These are open-ended questions that force problem solving without triggering defensiveness. So they don't ask why, which can feel accusatory. Instead, they ask how and what, which creates space for reflection and ownership. For example, how would you like to approach this? What is the biggest risk if we move forward? how can we make this work for both sides? And then Chris Voss calls them the language of collaboration under pressure. And the last tool is tone and pauses, calm, curious, controlled. The most overlooked tool in negotiation is your voice. Voss says that you need to have the late night FM DJ voice, calm, slowly, steady. It creates philosophical safety. Pair it with intentional pauses, especially after a label or calibrated question, because this gives more empathy. This gives silence, and then it gives empathy to create a space and reflect instead of react. So as you have heard, these are the 4 tools that you can use for tactical empathy. Let's go to the next slide. We have talked about the tools of tactical empathy: labeling, mirroring, calibrated questions, and tone. Now let's see them in action, not in corporate training videos or HR manuals, but unexpected places. So just read this slide and make sure it works. Tactical empathy in action: tense salary negotiation, political leadership crisis, or internal team breakdown. There are many situations you can also imagine that you can use them, and use instead of defensiveness from "it seems like this is frustrating" to "what is the biggest challenge here?" I would skip the video link now because it didn't work, but we can continue to the next phase. So we go now to block 3, principles of influence. So why influence matters? Let's talk about the block 3. It's not manipulation, it's not pressure, but real earned human influence. Influence isn't about getting your way, it's about guiding others, especially in high stakes moments, with clarity, purpose, and integrity. Robert Cialdini in Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. So this is a book, The Psychology of Persuasion, what I recommend to read. Some examples are based on that. It defines influence as not a trick, but the result of understanding how people decide. When stakes are high and logic fails, emotion, trust, and social cues take over. As he puts it, by understanding how influence works, we can become more effective, more ethical persuaders, and better defenders against manipulation. So this segment is about being clever. It's about being clear, trustworthy, and intentional. Let me show you what looks like in 3 very different places, and we will go to the details. Let's take a moment to see the quote. Influence builds when pressure rises and facts are not enough. So I would go to the next slide to the details. These are the 6 principles of influence. And if you like, you can take a picture of the slide, or anyways, later you will be able to see it on YouTube. These are the 6 principles. So they are not tricks, they are patterns, predictable ways humans decide when they are uncertain, tired, emotional, or under pressure. So the author spent decades researching this. These principles show up in business, in leadership, parenting, sales, or social movements. It's everywhere. So you need to use them with intention and integrity. So let's go to the details. Reciprocity. People give back to those who give first. We don't like to feel that we are, let's say, influenced. So when someone gives us something first, attention, help, resources, we feel compelled to give back. In business, this looks like sharing an insight in a meeting before asking for input, offering help with another team's problem before requesting their support, or giving recognition publicly before asking for someone's buy-in. Then we can go to commitment and consistency. So people want to act in ways that are consistent with their identity, and with that they are already said or done. This is one of the most powerful principles in long-term influence. I can tell you a real example. If a stakeholder agreed in last month's meeting that customer feedback is key to our next phase, I would follow up with, you mentioned customer input would guide our direction. Based on that, here is the voice of customer report that supports this move. It is not convicting, it is aligning. Then let's go to the next topic, social proof. People do what others like them to do. When people are unsure, they look at others, especially others like them, for direction. This is why user reviews, testimonials, or case studies work. In leadership is showing momentum. Let's go to 4, authority. People trust experts. People respond to credentials, experience, and calm confidence, especially under stress. But this doesn't mean name-dropping titles. It means speaking from knowledge and sometimes bringing in experts and reinforce your message. Let's go to the next one, liking. People say yes to those they like. We underestimate this one, especially in technical or corporate spaces. But connection, warmth, or likability are forced multipliers. So the author's research shows that people are more likely to be persuaded when they know you, when they like you, and see something common with you. That's really interesting topic, right? So many times in work, you realize how much it helps if you share some fun facts about yourself, if you are present, and even we get the feedback often that we need to be in the office to have more connections. Liking really helps you accelerate in your work. And then we can go to scarcity. People want what is limited. So people act faster when they feel something is in short supply, not just time or resources, but opportunity or alignment. Scarcity adds urgency, but it must be true and never manipulate. And I can give you here an example. When you need to alignment in a component decision, you need to say a supplier can hold the discount price until Friday. After that, it goes back to whatever percent. And then this decision has been just standing, and now everybody feels the urgency. Sometimes we need to say these things to make sure that decisions are made faster. So these 6 principles can be used, and you can use them to build trust, give first, anchor in trust, show others moving, align their paths, and clarify the urgency. I think these are really good examples. And here I can stop a little bit, and I'm curious if you have any personal example you would like to share with us, if you already used it or you have seen a situation when somebody used it and it was really helpful moving things forward. I give 30 seconds if anybody would like to speak up. All right.
Hello,
Yes?
can you
Okay,
hear me?
I can hear you. If you make them feel like coming to work and work on the project you have, maybe even when they like you and they feel like they are doing things for your helping you more months left. I think we can push hard. I think we can get it done. That, let's say, a limited time that you are talking about, I can see that can also happen there. Then let's say people do what others like them to do. People follow past behavior. I would say these two, what I can imagine from these examples, but I'm open for others to share in case to emotions, because sometimes it can be personal situation, personal life happenings that stop them to be focused on the work, or even you can see the symptoms of burnout that you also need to handle. But it all comes down to soft skills, I think. Anyone else would like to say something?
Emma, is it possible for me to say something? It's Liz Hector here.
Yes, I can hear you.
I really like your presentation, and I think it's a very good point you make, Risha. I would add, and probably Risha has her own view on this, we work a lot together, on reciprocity and commitment and consistency. The key feature,
Are you break out now?
formally or informally, whether you don't actually have the, hello?
We couldn't hear you. Now,
Oh.
can you?
Can you hear me now?
No, yeah,
Can
it's
you hear
not
me
break-
now?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Mhm.
So thanks for that. I just wanted to add to what you've already said, which I completely agree with, that in terms of leadership, there are two things I think on this list which really resonate with me and maybe Risha as well, because we work a lot together. So I feel like we both have this shared view where reciprocity is very important because it's about giving back first. So leadership by example, whether you're a formal or informal leader, is really important to show people that you give first. You give first help, advice, coaching, what people need is a great way to become an informal leader because they'll rely on you to help them a little bit. Doesn't mean you're doing their job for them, but helping a little bit. And the other one is commitment and consistency, because people are afraid when a leader is chaotic. So you want to know, people want to know that if they act a certain way, you'll act back a certain way, and that they can rely on that constant behavior from you so that they don't feel like today you're Jekyll, tomorrow you're Hyde, if you know that analogy. But those were my thoughts.
Really interesting thoughts. Thank you. Good. Then we can move forward to the next slide. Just a moment. So now that we have seen the 6 principles of influence, let's ground them in the real world we live in every day. So influence in practice, leading change without authority, getting buy-in from hesitant stakeholders, persuading a team to act under pressure. So match the principle to the situations. I can give you one example here, and we can discuss that. So leading change without authority. I'll give you a scenario here. You are driving a process change, but you don't manage the people involved. You have been tasked with rolling out a new project management system, but here is the issue. You don't directly manage the teams who have to adopt it. Some are openly skeptical, others are silent, which is worse. So you can't force compliance. You can use influence here. Reciprocity. You start by offering short walkthroughs tailored to each team's workflow. Here is a 5 minutes shortcut to save you 30 minutes a week. Liking. You find one ally in each team who respects you and start by earning their support. So they want to help you, and you socialize it. And then social proof. In your next email, you can say 3 departments are already fully on board with productivity gains of 12% in just 10 days. Commitment and consistency. In every meeting, you remind people, you told us last quarter that transparency was a top priority. This system gets us there. This shift doesn't happen overnight, but resistance turns into willingness. So not through power, but through purpose shared by design. So that is influence in action. Let me just check if I have another example for you getting into the details. I have one more example for you, getting buy-in from hesitant stakeholders. So the scenario is you are proposing a new design strategy and leadership is skeptical. Let's say you are pushing for a change in design architecture, maybe moving from legacy ECU to modular. It's a bit of hardware example. So the executive team is hesitant and they feel it's risky, it's expensive, and they are worried. Instead of selling harder, you can apply authority. You bring in data from other companies who have adopted it. It is an internal technical lead with credibility. Here is why it worked for another company in that division. Scarcity, you point out the window. If we want supplier alignment, we need to log this before Q4 or we miss the price break. Commitment and consistency. You referenced past conversations. In our January offsite, we agreed we would prioritize long-term maintainability over short-term comfort. This does exactly what we want. So you are not arguing, you build a bridge now between the past priorities and your present proposal. So the result is you don't win the room, but you align it. And this decision sticks. So I believe this was some example that you can use in your, let's say, corporate life, but hopefully in your personal life as well. I believe it's really good that we don't try to push with power, but with these basic principles. And then what is really important, ethical influence and manipulation. So you need to use it to earn trust, to share value and empower choice, and not to exploit fear. So everything we learned so far, from tactical empathy to these 6 principles, can be used for good and for personal gain. So ethical influence creates trust, clarity, and action. Manipulation creates fear, confusion, and compliance. So the techniques are the same, the intent makes it different. Let me show you what it looks like for in the next slide. So basically, true influence leave people stronger and not smaller. And we can all remember situation when we felt like it's influence and manipulation is really similar, but you can sense that manipulation gives you like a bad feeling afterwards. So these principles should be used for the good. And yeah, maybe I don't need to emphasize it anymore. And then ethical influence and protecting yourself. So far, we explored how to influence others ethically, strategically, and with empathy. But one more skill to develop is to protect yourself from being influenced unethically. Because let's be honest, in business, politics, and in everyday life, people will try to get you to act fast without thinking. So they will say, this is your only chance, or everyone has already agreed, or do not overthink it. These are pressure signals, and when we are tired, stressed, or overloaded, they really work on us. So that's why we don't just need to learn influence, we need to also be able to protect ourselves or defend ourselves from, let's say, manipulation. So you need to pause and ask, is this helping me or just getting me to comply? So it's an interesting thought. So am I being rushed? Whose outcome does this serve? Do I feel free to say no? So I think this is also an interesting takeaway. And when you feel it, you can stop and really dive into the details with the person reaching out to you, because let's be honest, it already happened to us many times that this type of manipulation found us, or influence found us while we did not want to be influenced. And then this is the last key takeaway slide which I'm sharing today. So it is bringing it all together, why we had this session and why this was really good. What are the takeaways? After this slide, we will go to memory card and some practical examples. And I would like to also open up the room for conversation and discuss what we took and what are the situations we've been in, and hopefully in the future we would react somewhat different. So let's bring it all together. So here we are, the first circle. We started this session with a simple idea. When pressure rises, how you talk, it becomes everything, and how you can handle crucial conversations when stakes are high and you don't want your emotions to run the conversation, but you want to stay at facts and lead through until the topic you wanted to discuss is discussed. how to influence when it matters, lead with clarity and use the right tools and techniques, but only for ethical reasons, and then how to protect your integrity. You need to lead with empathy and speak with courage and influence with purpose. So because when it is tough, how you talk identifies what happens next. So hopefully this session and takeaways were really useful for you. As I said, you can see the slides again with the key takeaways, and I really wanted to make sure that you have a simplified takeaway that you can use in your everyday life. But when you are interested, I can recommend the books that this presentation is based off. So actually, that was all. Crucial conversations, influencing, and negotiating. And now we can go to the practical part of this session. So what is coming? I share with you 2 memory cards about the crucial conversation part. I can let you make a picture of it so you can remember today and also later on when you need to use it in your personal or professional life. Then I show you 2 situations and we can openly discuss it, work it out on our papers and discuss it, and then we can start the open conversation about takeaways. So let's get there. What I ask you now, this will help you in the practical examples. Now, make a picture of this memory card. One is about the state, which we discussed at the crucial conversation part of the section. If you have your phone, make a picture. I give you 10 seconds. And then we move to the next card. So state, you remember, this is the smart way to ask people to understand what is running behind the emotions. You will have also a mini example on the card. And then when they say it's always like that or they shut down, you need to continue because you are not done with staying, just asking the question. You need to continue. Ask, mirror, paraphrase, and prime, what we also discussed. And you can see here a mini example in this card. Make a picture, use it tomorrow or use it today in the session. And then now, hopefully everybody made the picture. I share you one situation and then we can discuss here. And after that, I can show you one resolution, but it's basically just following the models. So here you see the situation. You are in a sprint review, your colleague repeatedly misses deadline, impacting the whole team's velocity, but gets defensive when it's brought up. Some of us already experienced this before, so I let you think about it. Basically, this is a setup in a professional environment when you ask somebody if something is not ready yet, but even in personal life, it happens, right? So you are, again, didn't take out the trash, and then your partner starts to get defensive, right? It just never gets resolved. So how would you resolve it using these 2 memory cards? Actually, there is the first step, the state, and then you go to the next model. I'll let you think about it. And if you are ready, feel free to speak up and we can discuss that. If you work out a model, maybe how to address it and you want to share with others. But I give like 1 or 2 minutes. You can read it and think. I stop talking.
Well, Emma,
I can hear you.
whether we need to change any kind of a deadline, then that paraphrase needs to be happen. That few things outside your control which affect that delivery. So that comes into picture. And then as a prime, so I'll go again with him and ask him whether he really want to support each other as a team or he has some issues. So there are two models like state and AMPP. So for me, it's AMPP much more accurate so that I can discuss with the resource in more detail and then plan the delivery accordingly.
Exactly. I also see that that at the end, just starting with the state model is not enough because it's basically asking the right question, but then you need to continue. And I also believe the EMPP model is supposed to help us. So here is an example resolution. Let's say we can say that we've missed 3 deadlines in the last month. I'm concerned this is starting to hurt the delivery reputation. How do you see it? Am I misreading this? Yeah, we understood we already don't misread it. So please help me understand what is going on. And then you go with the model. You seem frustrated. Am I reading it right? So you are saying the scope keeps changing without notice. Would you be open to brainstorming better, planning strategies together? So this is again following the model, the AMPP model, getting into the details. And again, this is something I believe we already practiced in a working environment, this type of one-on-one discussion and active listening. But remember, when your emotions are high, sometimes you can get lost in the details, especially when somebody starts to yell, getting defensive. So this is when you just need to get focused, have your brain thinking about these models. All right, anything else to add? If not, then I can go to the next situation.
Well, I would like to add in a
Okay.
So I would like to add it in a way like I'm currently a student, so not exactly these kind of things, but many a times we have got many things scheduled, and we are still, we face the difficulties in meeting them because we have sometimes we have like bunch of things together, and there are different students in a way as we team up and. The thing is that we can have conflict of opinions or we can have like different approaches on the same strategy. So whenever I lead or something and such kind of situations come that we are unable to do it in a time or we are all are not on the same page as we think on, so what I actually do is I give chance for each one of them that what would you think should be the best approach towards it, because the way previously we are following and we are not getting the results like we wanted it basically. So that's where I feel that if we give individual chances for everyone and then again we can together think on it like what other strategies can we apply, or is there any lack of resources, or we need to like push in some extra efforts from our side, or we need help from outside of our team, so we can actually get in that also. And that's how I feel that again we team up and brainstorm and then we plan it in better way, and so that we can efficiently execute it and get better results and satisfied results is what I feel.
That's really good. That's really good. Talking to more people and also understand that maybe we just need to replan. It's not the person, but maybe the whole setup was not correctly understood, the scope that we need to deliver. Again, here in the example, it was also coming back like, actually the scope is changing, then how can the person deliver? That's really good example. And that's interesting. Yeah, I'm bringing professional corporate examples, but you're right, even in school and even in personal relationships, sometimes it happens like you again do these things, you again make some things against me, and then you need to cool down and just follow the model, which is sometimes difficult in personal setup as well. Okay, we can go to the next example. Scope creep conflict, as a stakeholder keeps adding scope in the middle of the sprint, frustrating the project team and threatening delivery deadlines. So how would you handle this situation? So basically, you address this to the stakeholder.
Yeah, so we need to involve the product owner
Mm-hmm.
so that he can set up little bit boundaries, and that will help us, our team, to realize that what things needs to be prioritized during the sprint.
I agree. I don't know if you have ever worked in an organization where high level stakeholders didn't understand the approach and they just say, yeah, but we need it.
Yeah. So whenever we are doing the grooming session or sprint planning session, so those things needs to be clarified during that time, because we estimate also those things, and once we start working on things, we'll get to know with respect to the new future that what thing need to be added uh, when I'm developing any feature. So then the product owner needs to understand that what are the technical. So we need to create that complete project plan or kind of a risk matrix, that if we are adding anything during the sprint, what are the risks, and if we are de-scoping anything, what are the impacts.
Also, Piyush, I think we should do an impact assessment of the change that we are bringing in. So probably doing, cost, time, resource, obviously the risk that you were talking about, the impact analysis, and probably then presenting options to the stakeholder, what exactly we require if these changes we are bringing in changes. So, and if this is approved, we translate it to a cost, and obviously communicate the cost. And if the customer approves the cost, then there is okay, I believe.
Yeah, that's also a better approach. Costing comes everything. If the business is approving the costing with respect to the injections, then it's fine from the delivery point of view. Yeah, but it definitely decreases down the velocity of the team.
Because you see at the top, they all are businessmen. They are working. We are project managers. So
Correct.
we do the technical stuff. They do the business stuff. And once we translate that thing into cost, it's up to them to approve or not to approve. If they approve, we suddenly bring in and
Yeah, correct. Anyone else want to go ahead?
Yeah, feel free. I also believe bringing this point to the stakeholder helps, and bringing more facts help us to convince that this is not the way how the team works.
Correct. So we are creating a lot of documentation, risk analysis, impact analysis, which can be shared with the stakeholder and try to ask, get it reviewed, and get the approvals done. And then the costing part also matters, which Nishit highlighted.
That is really good. Let me show you the example what we have. Example resolution, how to talk to the stakeholder, because it is more like the soft skill part, how you approach. So we have been had 4 scope changes in the last 2 sprint. It is making it tough for the team to stay focused and hit milestones. How do you view these changes? And then in case the stakeholder gets defensive, and we have seen this happening. I want to be clear, I'm not blaming you. I just want to make sure we deliver that matters to you on time. What could we agree on together as a change control process? So we also not only address this only change, but the behavior of not respecting the procedure. So this is something to address. Yeah, definitely. Again, what we learned from Crucial Conversation is about how to bring these high emotions to resolution instead of a personal fight. So it brings the idea to continue.
Actually, the whole idea is, Emma, if you are assertive enough, you will be able to tell the stakeholder. But if you are like an even person, or that person is not very assertive, so they will try to absorb those changes, and so it depends on person to person also, because
I understand, totally understand. And even if you have all the soft skills and you want to approach it in a friendly way, sometimes these stakeholders shut down, or they say you are the 100th person coming with this and they don't like it. So I have also seen situations when it's hard to address this type of things, or they don't understand, let's say, the agile or sprint language, and it's hard to explain what they disrupt with. So it's not an easy conversation.
Actually.
Exactly. And I have one more situation to you. Let me just show you situation 3 that we can discuss. A team member expected a promotion but didn't receive it. Their motivation is visibly declining and they have become disengaged in meetings. So let's say you are the manager of this person. How would you address it? And sometimes we get this feedback like, yeah, they cannot promote everybody. So even that person brings it up, but it looks like it's not even bringing up. You just see the motivation is declining.
So I guess most of us are experienced here and everyone facing this situation. But yeah,
Happens most of the time.
but we need to regularly motivate our
Really tells me, or we have the conversation why it disturbs me, I think then we can easily come to the point saying like, we are respected employees and there are other opportunities for us to grow even more and educate ourselves.
Making a mess.
Okay, so Liz, you opened your mic. So let's see what is the resolution based on the book example. how to address. So I want to make sure this conversation is helpful for both of us. I sense your frustration might come from the decision was made. Let's explore how we can align your goals with future opportunities. Maybe we can brainstorm on what development path looks right for you. So as you just shared, the path for the future. You can also ask yourself, what do I really want for them, for me, for the team, and stay focused, shared on long-term growth. So don't stop just because somebody shuts down. You continue the conversation until resolution. And I really like your ideas about what we exactly can recommend to our employee. Good. Okay, so now we have an open conversation. If you have any personal example you want to share related to the topics we covered today, influencing, negotiating, or crucial conversation when you need to save the conversation from running emotional, we can still discuss. And actually, we have 10 minutes left from the event. So what I would recommend is I share the QR code of the event now. The post-event survey. Let me just share. This is my last slide. So I would like to get feedback about what you think of the event. Please take the time and give us feedback about the event, about Next Wave Hive, about what you think of this and for what you propose for the future. Please do it now. And after that, we can stay, people who have still 10 minutes, we can stay here, discuss personal examples, we can do networking. So it's more like, feel free to stay in the last 10 minutes now and discuss with us what we learned. And if you need to drop, just take some minute and fill the post-event survey. Okay, so I leave it here and then we can just continue the conversation in this next 10 minutes. Thank you. I see Abdullah is clapping. All right, let me just think of personal examples and then we can go from there. I can share one example maybe. So when I started to work in Hungary, I started to work at multinational companies, and where I always felt that, let's say, we who are not sitting in a headquarters are secondary, our opinions are not heard, and our feedbacks doesn't matter. So after a while, I learned that I was not the one highlighting my thoughts or putting my feelings or my opinions or feedback in an email. I was not highlighting my opinion because this feeling, this story I was telling myself was stopping me from like growing or like making my points. And this was really interesting because this was an example exactly in that book, The Crucial Conversation, that if you blindside yourself with this story, like you are not enough, or just because English is your second language, or you are not sitting in the right office, then you cannot address the real problem and you don't address this crucial conversation. So for me, it was more about like experiencing and just getting more experience, learning like, let's say these nationalities are basically equal, and if not, then you need to make your way around this kind of secondary office or building your relationship when you can. But that was a really example, really interesting example in the book, saying like you just cannot address until you are not honest with yourself in this kind of stories. So that was an interesting thing for me when I was preparing for this.
Yeah, I can also add, Ima, one example. Like when you are dealing with the much more experienced people and you want to change any kind of a process, like when this from waterfall we come to the agile process. So there are a lot of times when you need to do that crucial discussions with respect to the senior management people, because you need to understand that what is the thing you are getting when you are changing process, what is the additional advantage, and that require a lot of effort because during that time you don't have any artifact, but you need to prove yourself that once you change the process it will helpful for the team and even helpful for the business also. Similarly, right now also we are seeing it because we need to like use lot of AI tools to increase the productivity of the team. But again, that crucial discussion comes up whenever you are purchasing any license for the AI tool, you need to justify also that how much percentage of that productivity you are increasing with respect to the uh, uh, with respect to the buying cost of that tool. So that's also require a lot of effort uh, to showcase your attitude plus to showcase your positive behavior with respect to your management, and
Mhm.
that require a lot of like detailed stuff which we need to present to the management.
Exactly. Yeah, that is also a conversation to have for sure. And it's really complex because yeah, luckily the more you understand what is stopping them to support you in the processes you want to follow, the more understanding you have, the better data you can prepare to convince them. But yeah, you need to have some discussion, and sometimes they are shutting down or yelling. That's difficult. Okay. Anyone else have any other examples also about influencing or manipulation? Crucial conversation going bad.
Yeah, so I would also like to add on that initially when I had just started with my undergraduate degree, so I used to go to many events, networking events and all, and many a times I used to feel that the I'm like the most I'm usually like a person who doesn't know anything about, and there's so much still to learn. So that used to make me feel so many times underconfident that you are sitting in a room full of smart people and brilliant minds who know where to apply what and everything. So initially that used to happen, but then I thought that yeah, if you will many a times you'll feel that you are unheard, but to make yourself heard, or if you want to make a point and if you want them to actually understand it, you need to make a point to which they will be serious about. So that required me to do a lot of homework and make myself confident enough that if you take yourself seriously, if you are driven by right points, right data, if you are supported with good amount of facts and numbers or whatever is required to it, you will be heard. It's not that you will just be not seen just because you are still at the starting stage of the pedestal and they are so much high onto it. Uh, they are open to help you out if you ask them help in the right way and if you make them realize that you are worth that time. So that is one big thing that I understood, that the impression that you make about yourself in front of them and how you in a way try to like keep yourself up and show them the right amount of things that they would like to see you and help you out, then you can definitely get a chance. So after doing this about almost every time applying it, then again reintrospecting it, that how can I better myself, and doing it to now actually being confident enough to even sit in a room, and then now I can confidently ask questions. So that is one thing that I learned throughout past one and a half year, that you need to make others to hear you. It won't be like they'll just hear you. So yeah, that's one important influencing lesson that I realized.
That's really great example. Yeah, thanks for sharing. I also think that at first it needs to come out and you need to verbalize it how you feel. And it looks like then you realize like people are open for you, and somebody just maybe you remind them of their younger self. So I think it's really interesting. It's also the liking factor maybe. So I think it's nice.
Yeah, you need to come out of your comfort zone actually to do that.
Exactly. I see Abdullah might have an example.
Yes. Yeah, this is a follow-up on this point, and sorry if there is any background noise. I had to be outside. But the thing with when you have a new suggestion and you are a newcomer, and I'm a guy who goes to a team with the majority of the people, I don't know, 20, 30 years older than him. And then you kind of need to think strategically how you get your point across. One of the strategies that was mentioned in today's session is the finding an ally. So I would suggest if you go to talk to, I don't know, people who have different kind of experience and you want to get the point across, you need to find someone who believes in that or convince a single, probably one of the stakeholders of this meeting. And then when you bring your idea, you get some sort of support from somebody who is already there, who is already trusted. That's the first strategy. And the other one is to give data. So an actual example of something that you did and how it's resulted in your job, then probably you'll be taken more seriously, because these are things that happen on a regular basis for people who are coming new to an organization.
Exactly. It's a good idea finding an ally. And this is why I think in many companies we get a buddy when we are onboarded, because then you can also bring your opinion through with somebody who you trust and is there to help you.
That is true.
Good. Not sure if there is any other example.
I guess we are on the time also.
Yeah, so maybe we can start with the closing thoughts. So yeah, if you have not done yet, please use this QR code so you can give us feedback about this event. And from my end, thank you so much for joining and listening to my thoughts, what I wanted to share. Hope you have some good takeaways, something new that you can apply in your life, personal life and professional life. So I'm really happy that you joined, and you can see also the recording on YouTube later. And I hope you will also join to the coming Next Week Hive events. Yeah, stay tuned. You can always see the coming event on the website, and on LinkedIn they will also share. So that was for me. Anyone from the Next Wave Hive team want to share anything else?
Yeah, Emma, thank you. Thanks a lot for this wonderful session and be a part of us, the speaker for Next Wave Hive. It will be very nice to support us as we are new in the market and we want to grow further. So this is the first session which help us to understand also that how to take the crucial discussions in a good way and how to influence people to join the Next Wave Hive in a positive way.
Good point. Thank you. Good. Thank you all for joining. We are closing the session. Have a nice weekend, and then